Alright, Shalom. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Honors to you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. It's going to be a quick, short lesson on the impending war, as I always get into. Alright, because it's good to stay up on that kind of material. Alright, because the scripture says you got to hasten the day. And in so doing, I've tried to keep a watchful eye on events that have happened, right? Events that occurred in the past, because the scripture speaks about reincarnation. So, military, war history, and all of that. That gives you a pretty good idea of what's going to happen in the future. That's why you can all that predict in an economic crash, because you've had many economic crashes, man. You can't just borrow from nowhere, really, right? And just expect to have to carry on to carry on doing it. Right? And that's why you can always also expect another another world war, simply for the fact that we've had two world wars. One, the scripture says there's going to be a third war. Two, we're living in exactly the same way as they did before the first world war. All right. Alright, so without much further ado, I'm going to get into this article. And found this article during the week. And it was interesting because not too long ago, and I know now they're under sanctions, Iran was under a lot of heat about their nuclear enrichment program, alright? But now, when you consider the information that's presented within this article, you really come to understand that really, man, that's all smoke and mirrors, man. That's all smoking screens, man. They're really hiding you from the truth. And what's going to be brought out within this article is the fact that with the technology that they had down there, coming back from at the first atom bomb that they dropped on them gooks out there, man, where they had less technology. Right, they had less resources, but they still brought it out, man. Now you got all of these kind of resources, right, to where you can dig into the ground and you can test that stuff out, man. You gotta be you gotta be shitting me, man. You gotta be all that crazy to think that. Now, why is that important? Well, we know through the scriptures, we're gonna see in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, a major prophecy that's gonna happen, is gonna be partaken, is America going to a war with the Iranians. Alright, which are known as the Carmanians within the scriptures in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. Alright, so once you establish the fact that they've got nuclear weapons and they've got nuclear capabilities, then you really come to understand that this thing can really pop off at any minute and any second, because all that has to happen is Israel declare a war, all out war on them Iranians, man. They just needed an excuse, because the weaponry, by logic, is already in existence. It's not officially in existence, but it's already in existence, man. Right? So they could be looking for the opportune time, talking about them gut rats up there in the land of Israel. They could be just looking for an opportune time, right, to unleash all that war on them. And when I say opportune, I'm talking about the financial markets coming, they've done what they wanted to do with the money, and they brought it down, so they've instituted the chip and all of that, right? Everyone is in a state of disarray because of the chaos that's breaking through. So just to step it up to the next level of chaos, they will unleash World War III by going up into by going out there into Iran, and the Iranians is going to draw out the North Koreans, the Chinese, and most importantly the Russians, as you can see in the prophecies in Ezekiel the 37th chapter. All right. So let me start reading this. It says, for several years now, myself and others have been warning that Iran probably has the bomb. It says, contrary to Obama administration promises that they will know when Iran crosses the red line to build the bomb. Right? We have warned that such claims are false. All right? U.S. intelligence is not good enough to so precisely and with such high confidence and monitor and verify the status of Iran's nuclear weapons program. Right now, that particular statement there is full of bones, because we know Americans got agents all over the place. So them Americans got agents within the truth, man. These people within the truth right now that are working for the so-called white, right, playing the devil's advocate, man. right? So if they infiltrated something of which the Most High let them, first and foremost, but if they've infiltrated the truth, you bet damn well sure they've infiltrated Iran, man. So they don't know what's going on up in there, man. All right, but like I said, they could be just waiting for an opportune time, right, to unleash all that chaos, man. All right, now this is the next paragraph. It says Defense Science Board report. A recently published Defense Department study assessment of nuclear monitoring and verification technology by Blue Ribbon Defense Science Board concludes the following: closing the national global nuclear monitoring gap should be a national priority. Right? It will require, however, a level of commitment and sustainment. Right? We don't normally do well without a crisis. Right? You hear that? It says monitoring or proliferation presents challenges for which our current solutions are either inadequate or often don't exist. So amongst these challenges, small inventories of weapons and materials, small nuclear enterprises designed to produce, install, and deploy only a small number of weapons, more undeclared facilities and or covert operations such as testing below detection thresholds, like I was saying, right, or acquisitions of material or weapons through theft or purchase, use of non-traditional technologies. Right? It says these intelligent blind spots align perfectly with US's monitoring gaps against Iran's nuclear weapons program. Right. So just to elaborate what I read up in the paragraph above, what it's saying here is the blind spot within the US's monitoring US monitoring gaps is the fact that, man, these Iranians, if they wanted to obtain those nuclear capabilities, of which they're gonna want to, right, as a means of national security, because not all of these countries wants the Americans up in there, man. Keep hold of their natural resources and all of that, but some of these other countries will let these Americans roll up in there, set up a military base, and rob the country of its natural resources, man. Right, which is what the devil does. Doth not the scriptures say in Malachi 1:4 that they're gonna be known as the border of wickedness, man? The scripture also says it's gonna be like a man that's they never stay at home, man. Right? To roughly paraphrase, it says these intelligent blind spots perfectly align with U.S. monitoring gaps against Iran's nuclear weapons program. It says Defense Science Board report in tantamount to admission that Iran probably already has a bomb. Right? It says clandestine nuclear weapons program. It says like North Korean nuclear weapons program, Iran's nuclear weapons program is clandestine, mostly underground, like I mentioned before, mostly inaccessible to international inspections and impenetrable to U.S. national technical means. It says for most of what we know about Iran's nuclear program has been disclosed voluntarily by Tehran, right, which is the capital of Iran. Right, it says the international atomic energy agency. Right, so all the information that they know about Iran's nuclear bomb is the ones that they've given up, and that's just information that they want to give out. Well, you're gonna tell a man you got a bomb and they're gonna roll up in there and take whatever they want, man. Knowing this man's past record, you ain't gonna do that. You're gonna just give them, let them know what they need to know. It says the U.S. did not even suspect Iran was working on a bomb until 2002, after the program was in operation for 15 years. All right. It says we should know from our own experience that Iran probably has a bomb has the bomb. Right. Now this is a bit of history that I was touching on a little earlier on. It says during its World War II Manhattan Project, when nuclear weapons were only a theoretical possibility, and working with 1940s era technology, the US built two bombs of radically different design that both worked perfectly in a mere 3 years. It says Iran, with access to copious unclassified information on nuclear weapons designs, working with 21st century technology helped by AQ-CON networks, North Korea, of which the North Koreans hate the Americans, Russians hate the Americans, and the Chinese hate the Americans. And all of these different countries, North Korea, Russia, and China, all have nuclear capabilities. And they're all in support of, they all have vested interests within Iran. All right? So let me just read that again with that information buried in mind. It says, Iran, with access to copious unclassified information on nuclear weapons design, working with 21st century technology, helped by AQ-CON network, North Korea. I don't know what AQ-CON network is. All right, but it should be interesting to find out what it is. All right, North Korea, Russia, and China supposedly has been unable to build a bomb. Right, so that's the right of being facetious there. You're telling me with the support of Russia, which hates America, China that hates America, North America that hates, North Korea that hates America. Are you telling me with 21st century technology that Iran hasn't been able to build a bomb? It says after 30 years of trying, it says this is an implausible, optimistic assessment. All right. It says North Korea developed its first nuclear weapon in no more than 8 years. All right, and they're working in allegiance with the Iranians. Right, so that could get, I'm not going to get into the rest of the article because that touches on all I need to touch on. All right, and without that, with that in mind, man, that should put you in a state of somewhat shock, but not really shocked, because the scripture says when the Most High wants this thing to go down, it's going to go down, man. It might be more time than he's prescribed, or it might be less time than he's prescribed. We're in a stage right now when the Most High actually hasn't given us a time date when he's going to throw this thing down, man. But we know a few major prophecies are going to be played out, namely the chip, martial law, right, and the World War III. Right, so this is going to be in the scriptures. This is Isaiah 54th chapter, and the 16th verse. It says, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I've created the waster to destroy. So the Most High has created all of these different scientists, all right, to carry out their weapons program, and these scientists to do whatever they want them to do, man. Right, it says, I have created, and I'll read the next place because this is important. Because if you're of the elect, these are the words that you're gonna be living by in that day, man. Because that's all you're gonna have. You're gonna have faith in the Lord, man. Right? Because the scripture speaks that the Most High is not gonna save us by not gonna save us by the sword, man. But really, He is gonna save us by the sword, because we're gonna see in the scriptures, right, a little later on, how when the Lord comes, He's going to come with fire, right? Namely, coming from them chariots. It says, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. So, all these different countries, they got nuclear capabilities, but they ain't going to prosper against the children of Israel, right? So Israel is at the pinnacle of carnal technology, but we're at the pinnacle of our spiritual technology, if you will, right? No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. And this is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of the Most High. So the Most High establishes our righteousness. So you're damn right. We can do whatever, and we can say whatever the fuck we want, because the Most High establishes our righteousness, man. Right? Didn't the Most High count David's I'm forgetting the exact quote, man. Right, but certain men were justified by the Most High, and he said it was likened unto righteousness unto him, man. All right, so Most High establishes that. Now this is the prophecy, that getting on them Carmanians, going up against them Americans. All right, it says, for the Lord knoweth all that sin against him. This started this second Ezra, the 15th chapter and the 26th verse. All them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole world, rather more the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. Right? When you go into the word plague, it means bad times. So bad times will come upon the whole earth, not just one part of it, not just America, not just the Middle East, coming up in the whole world. And that's how we know this is a prophecy that's yet to come, because we haven't seen such a time when bad times has been experienced by the whole world, man. Right, by the whole earth. So beholding a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. Because we know this thing's gonna play out in the east, man. All right, let me zoom out a little bit. Right, we know this thing's gonna play out in the Middle East, and it's fitting because they're gonna fight over that land, right, known as the Fertile Crescent, essentially. But they're never gonna obtain it because the Most High is gonna give it to whom it belongeth to. So they're fighting this war to destroy themselves, man. Right, to start off the cleansing of the earth, the preliminary cleansing of the earth. Right, it says, when the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried away, carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. It says also the Chaldeans raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boar of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them. So the Chaldeans, which is the Iranians, right, shall join battle with them, right. So this war might have started, right, and then the Iranians gonna come through, right. It says, and shall waste a portion of the land of Assyria, which is America, right. So they're gonna waste a portion of it, right. Now let me get into the next precept. This is in the book of Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. So this vision here, that's Ezra saw, man, right? The Chaldeans joining battle against the Assyrians, which is the Americans, right? For yet the vision is appointed time. That's been set up for an appointed time, right? You know, so we don't know when the Most High is going to do it exactly, but we know certain certain prophecies is going to play out before that. It says, but at the for the vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and line not, and though it tarry, you know, you catching hell and all of that, and sometimes you feel like, man, this thing ain't ever gonna go down. You ain't supposed to become sluggard or lazy and not productive in this truth, like some of the other camps, man. Right? It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. All right. Moving on to the next precept. So Isaiah the 13th chapter and 11th in the first verse, it says, the burden of Babylon, which is the Babylon, is another name for America, land of confusion, which is Isaiah the son of Amos did see. It says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt ye the voice, shake the hand, that ye may go into the gates of the nobles, which is what we do when we go out there in the camps and push this word, which goes to show you this is a clear and cut instruction that you're supposed to be going out there pushing this word in the in the elements, so to speak, right? It says, I have commanded my sanctified ones, I have called my mighty ones from mine anger, right? Even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms and nations, of nations, right, gathered together, right? The Lord of hosts mustereth up the host of battle. So the Most High is going to put it in these different nations, spirit to come up and battle up against each other. When you read the scripture, I believe it's in Daniel, it says the heart of the king, basically the king's mind, is in the hands of the Most High. So the Most High puts the spirit upon them to do what he wants them to do. So you can forget the whole thing about free will, man. Right? It says, they come from a far country, even the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land. So all of this talk about nuclear weapons, it's written in the scriptures, and they're going to come, it's going to waste the whole land. It says, howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. So them Christian people out there, man, that's talking about peace and love and all of that, man, that's contrary to the scriptures. All right? It says, therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Right? And it says, and they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them, and they shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth, and they shall be amazed one another at their faces, right, that shall be as flames. Right, I'm going to move on to the next precept. This is going to be in Isaiah the 66th chapter, right? Showing you how the Lord's going to be returning. It says, behold, the Lord, right, will come with fire and with the chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with his fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. It says, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. It said, the slain of the Lord shall be many, man. Right, so simultaneously with the destruction of this kingdom by way of them destroying themselves, it's also going to be at the same time that the Lord's going to come back. He's going to be helping them destroy themselves as well, man. He's going to be putting in work as well, man. And he's the precept to prove that. This is as Zechariah 5:3. It says, then said he unto me, this is matter of fact, Zechariah 5:1, it says, then I turned and lo, and I lifted up my eyes and lo, behold a flying roll. He said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, the length thereof 20 cubits, and the breadth 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth in the whole earth, for everyone that stealeth must be cut off. Right, which is the so-called white man. Not only stole everything on the earth, he also stole our heritage, man. Right? On every side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. Right? So, man, when you see these things, man, when you see this talk of Iran having a bomb and all of that, that's the implications of that is all out world war, man. All right, namely by Israel going in there, and then Iran, the Iranians going to retaliate, bomb the shit out of Israel, bomb the shit out of America for supporting Israel, which all ties in with the scriptures, man. Right, and simultaneously, whilst that's happening, the Lord's going to come on the scene because there's a higher level in terms of wickedness that he's